All right, guys. Netflix is releasing this new Colin Kaepernick documentary. Um, and it's gonna like go over everything that he's going through in his life and this and that, and to where we were, I guess, about 3 years ago when we heard the last statement from Colin Kaepernick, because he hasn't spoken in 3 years. But he's made a lot of money in those last 3 years. And in general, since he went 3-19 in his last 22 starts and got benched. And I just want to ask a question to everybody, but especially to the Colin Kaepernick supporters. I just want to ask you a question, man. And the whole wokety woke mob, I just want to ask y'all a question. If you were the coach of that team, not the coach that he went to the Super Bowl with and lost to the Baltimore Ravens, but you're the new coach. He's been playing bad for 2 seasons. Now you take over the team. He's been playing bad for 2 seasons. Now you take over the team. He goes 3-22. I'm talking to the wokesters and the supporters. Would you have benched him and given the backup a chance? Or would you have kept playing Colin Kaepernick? I really want to ask y'all that question, man. I've been dying to hear the answer to that question for a while, and we finally have a audience here that I can ask that question to. Please get in the chat and answer me that question. Would you have, as a first time head coach or as a young coach in the league, up and coming coach in the league, trying to swim in these shark infested NFL waters, the guy's 3-19 in his last 22 starts, which also means that you're 3-19 in your last 22 starts. Would you have benched him, or would you have continued to let him play? Because this is when all the wokety woke stuff started. There was none of this woke stuff before he got benched, and he was dating Nessa. Nessa was his teammate's friend, his teammate's girl. And I don't know. I don't even want to say he stole her. Girls, they do what they want to do. She jumped on. She saw something in Colin and she switched over to Colin. I'm not even going to say that he stole her. She chose. You can't steal somebody, girl. She chose. She chose Colin over Alden. And she was wokety woke. But we still didn't see the wokety woke stuff until he got benched. And my question is, would you have benched him? Or would you have continued to let him play? Okay, when Colin Kaepernick was young, this age, he did not look like this. He did not wear his hair like that. He grew up in a town that's 1.4% black. Okay? All right? He went to a great school district in Turlock, California. And a lot of people out west, we have a lot of subs from out west, and you guys can get in the chat and tell them about Turlock, California. Phenomenal town. Colin's dad, the family who adopted him, is the vice president of a $2.5 $5 billion company. They're one of Kraft Cheese's biggest rivals. He works for a cheese company. They make cheese. He's the vice president of that company. So he had a nice salary while Colin was growing up. Colin's mom is a salt of the earth homemaker. She is a good woman. Anybody if you know anybody who knows of that family, they are dynamite people. And I know people gonna get mad. What you saying? No, I'm just talking about this family. So don't you saying all white people? No, 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 no. I'm talking about the people who picked Colin up from the puppy pound in Milwaukee when his parents, his Glacier Glider mom, and his son man dad abandoned him. I'm talking about that family. They are dynamite people, salt of the earth people. And they provided Colin with a great, fantastic life. Okay? He was never an outsider. He was never an outcast. In fact, they moved from Fond du Lac, Wisconsin to Turlock, California when he was very, very young to give him and his brothers and sisters, their biological children, a better life. Colin had private quarterback coaches that personally tutor. You know the stuff that they have now, where you can, a lot of kids are doing that now, but he had that back when it wasn't fashionable. He's had a great upbringing. And this, what he's saying right here so far, is absolutely true. His parents told him that anything was possible. They gave him everything he needed to be successful, and he went on to be very successful. Who's this kid? This was not in Turlock where he grew up. He grew up literally in an all white town. Like literally. Like, you know how I say now I live in a 90% white town? But like, yo, everywhere you go, all you see, because we be outside. Our people are outside. We walk around and we hang out on the porch and we, hang out on the block and we are outside. So you would know it was only 10%. And I'm waiting for the new census because it might be more. It feels like more, but the demographic in the town I say, it says 90% white. That town he grew up in was 95% white, and the rest was like other groups. But yet, in this documentary, they're showing you him slapping hands with some brother with a headband on the braids. And that's just not the reality of how he grew up. It's just not. Colin, that's not true. You were raised in a loving, nurturing environment. Dynamite people. The reason I say these people are good, not to try to say, because I know not anything about race. The people who picked him up at the puppy pound in Milwaukee and adopted him are dynamite people. Ask anybody that knows him. That knows that family. Look into their history. They're salt of the earth people. They're like, I'm not a good person. Okay? I'm all right. I'm decent. It's okay. I guess, I hold grudges. I get mad. I like to argue. I'm not, I can be, a jerk a lot. I'm not a good person all the time. Sometimes I can be great sometimes, but all in all, I guess I would say I'm all right. Okay? These people who picked him up at the puppy pound, these are dynamite people. Okay? And sisters ain't got enough sense to be offended by this. Colin has been in our consciousness in public, as far as we know, for about 11 years. If you're a football fan, I mean, he was a high draft pick. He was a big time prospect coming out of college. He went to a team that was Super Bowl contention, huge media market. He's been on our radar for 11 years. He's never been romantically linked to a woman that even remotely looks like this. Never. His dating history is public. It's not like, see, he's a superstar. He was a superstar quarterback for about a year and a half. He has never been, there's no pictures of him with a woman that looks like this. He's not, there's no picture. Scour the internet. You can't find a picture of him in this close proximity to a woman that looks like this. The woman he's with now is a Middle Eastern Arab woman, 1000% Arab. She's not like, she ain't no, not, but some of them be, no, she not one of them. But she not one of them. She the other kind. That's not. But some, no, she not the some. She that kind. 1000%. Okay? But he uses sisters again, just like they said he used them for his book cover. Abolish the policing, abolish the prisons. Just like they said he used them for their book, for his book cover. He used them again. Shameless, man. He wouldn't touch a woman like this with a 50-foot pole if he had on a hazmat suit. I like the old Colin, man. I like the Colin that was smart enough to know that a guy, a biracial guy adopted by an entirely white family, raised in an entirely white town, shouldn't be the face of police brutality. Like, it just, that's not your, that's cultural appropriation to the max. You don't even understand the community enough to know that that's a very small problem in the community. And it's just, some people just use that for political capital, political tool every 4 years with their liberal, pasty liberal buddies to try to get, votes. Everything that happened last in 2020 that y'all protested about has happened constantly because criminals are always going to have interactions with cops. Okay? Always. Right now, in every one of the 17,985 police jurisdictions in this country that are working right now, there's 17,985 police departments, cars on the street, units on the street, dispatchers at the station, cops at the station, chief in his office. Just like last night, me and my wife went over her friend's house, 2 towns over. We drove through 3 different police jurisdictions. And all those jurisdictions got criminals that are being arrested or being questioned or being chased, or somebody called the police, and y'all chose one interaction out of all of that every day going on and try to act like that meant that everybody racist. I miss the old Colin, man. I don't like who you've become, Colin. You're a fake and you're a fraud. You're phony. And you, if anybody deserves some sun karma, which you won't get because you've never lived around sun people. You live in Soho. You went from Turlock to like San Jose to Soho. You've never lived around sun people. But now, since 2020, we're everywhere now. Like it testified to this in the chat. If it's like, and then they were everywhere. Like something happened. We everywhere. You can't go to no town and not see us. We everywhere. Um, Anybody deserves the sun karma is you. You need to see what we really about, man. Cause you out here talking about we victims and all that stuff. You need to see what we really about. You can't hide forever, Colin.